Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
What's up, all you funky fish tank funkadelics? How are you doing with your nano reef pickle jaw planet tank having selves? And yes, you are funkadelic. If you don't know what funkadelic is, it's that feeling you get when you know, when you happy with yourself and you happy with what you're doing and you happy in your hobby and your life and all that. I consider you funky and making you a funkadelic. And if you don't feel funkadelic, you need a funkadelic pickup. Go check out AQUA. Watch a couple of his videos. He's funkadelic. Like AQUA. When I'm having a blah day, I watch an AQUA video. You know, it may be just a little jar that he has set aside somewhere, but there's something about the way he puts his videos together that puts me in a state of mind. It makes me feel a certain type of way. So, anyway, like I said, you watching Aquafunk with me, Jay the Angel Freak, and we're gonna talk about. I'm redoing my breeding setup, okay? Because if you've seen my fish spot before, my little fish spot, I had 240 breeders split to 4 20 gallons with 4 breeding angelfish pairs, and I had 3 15 gallon grow out tanks. And basically, I was letting, I was using the 15 gallons, and any spawns that came in between time, I was letting the parents, figure it out. But 2018, I said I was gonna, ramp up my whole situation. So I'm going with 10 gallons, 6 of them, and to hatch them out, I'm using the medium-sized Marina breeder boxes. Now, this thing, I don't know if you've ever seen the reviews on it, but a lot of people like it, except for the noise, which it is incredibly noisy. So I've come up with some ways to change that. I thought I was being innovative when I came up with this, and I saw someone else's video a little while back that was the same thing. So I guess great minds think alike. But here we go. This is my version of the modifications to make this better, 100% better. It's going to be quieter and it's going to be more powerful. First of all, it comes with this intake tube. Outlet, whatever you want to call it. The water comes out. Or the water goes in through this, comes out of this. So it comes with this, with a adjustable style thing right here, and it also has this little piece right here that you put the airline hose up to there, and you put it right there. And because there's no air diffuser right there, see that? No air diffuser, it's just some holes to let water through. It's noisy. Blop, 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 blop. Noisy, super noisy. So I got rid of this. Okay. This is like my 3rd video I've made trying to do this. And in the first one, I threw this. And it was cool. I was like, I don't need this. Wham! And I threw it. And then I had to spend like 15 minutes looking for it because I forgot I got my dog that puts anything in her mouth. So I'm just going to set it down right there, all nice. So I ain't got to choke my dog out. It also comes with these little grates that supposed to keep the fry in, but I don't know if you've ever what kind of fry you got, but this is way too big and they come out. For a sick tank, this will, for to get a fish away, kind of isolation tank, these will work, but it doesn't work for me. It also comes with this to turn on and off, the water flow. I used to use it, but now I use a gang valve across everything, so I just control it up there, and I save this because they always come in handy. So what do I do to this? Alright, first of all, I take this thing right here. I get myself one of those white air diffusers, right? And some rigid tubing, and I bend the rigid tubing with a lighter. Very slow. If you do it too fast or before it's hot enough, it'll kink. So do it nice and slow so you can get a curve and the air can go through nicely. You put your air diffuser on there, and you just slide it up in there. Okay? So you're going to get this right here, this setup. And because the air is coming out of the diffuser, it comes nice and smooth without any restrictions, and that's where your extra power comes from. And because it's not big air bubbles, that's where the noise stops. Then you get yourself one of these. This is a Fluval. You get it at the big box store. It calls something Fluval takes this as a filter. I use it as a pre-filter. I just slide it on right there. Boom. Then I get me a zip tie and tie up the end of it right here. Put it on there. Alright, so that's what you're looking like. Alright? That's what you're looking like. Now, the water comes out of here. What I do is I get me some sponge. This is, I think, is like a 30 ppi. I wish I could find a 40, 45 ppi. But you cut it in this kind of shape, and you put that right there. That way, the fry can't get out. Because angelfish fry are notorious escape artists. I'm serious. There's not a whole lot you can do to keep them in. I mean, they even will sometimes get out of this. Be careful about cutting the sponge if you do use this method, because if you cut the sponge too big and shove it in there, then it won't allow the water to pass through. If you cut the sponge too small, it leaves gaps for the gaps for the fry to go through. So it's a trial and error type of deal. So yeah. Then you put the sucker on here like this. Alright. Oh, it also comes with this little tabby right there, so you can you know, put it on the tank and make it, you know, fit right. I like to keep it so that it's a little bit tilted forward so that the water can come out of this relief cutout right here instead of coming out the back. So when you're setting it up, it's something you want to take at least an hour after it's completed and watch it and make sure if you're using this, you know, you got to play with it and make sure that the water rate and your everything is good so that it doesn't overflow. All right. So you've seen, if you've seen other methods, you've seen the jar method, the 10-gallon tank method. They put methylene blue and all this other stuff in there. I've used all of those methods. I've been successful and failed at each one of those methods. This is what I've come up with for my time schedule. I don't have a lot of time to catch things exactly when they happen, so I kind of got to have like a really general thing to happen so that I can, you know, get it started and let it do its thing. So what I do is I got a 10-gallon tank. I put this sucker on here. I get the flow right. I fill this initially. My first fill is all RO water. I could get RO water for 50 cents a gallon, and I'm lucky like that I could get it for 50 cents a gallon. But a lot of people aren't. So if you're not using RO water, you know, if you want to use the methylene blue or the hydrogen peroxide or all that, then okay. Or you could just use regular treated water. I age my water. So my initial thing is RO water. Then I'll do like a 50% water change with aged water. Which all aged water is you get a bucket. This is a 10-gallon. You get a 5-gallon bucket, right? You put a heater in there, you put an air stone in there, and you just let it sit for a day or two. It's aged. You put your chlorine remover in there. You don't have to put chlorine remover there because a lot of this stuff will dissipate. But I'm kind of a worrywart, So, boom, you let it sit there for a day or two, just percolating. Boom, aged water. The heater is because when you have these fry, you want the temperature to be correct. So 82 is what you're looking at. I can do a 100% water change and not have to disturb the eggs whatsoever because they're going to be up here in water. Because when you do the water change, that water level stays the same. It just stops. It just stops circulating. Okay, so now they become wigglers, right? Well, sorry. You take your slate and backtrack a little bit. You get your slate. The eggs are usually going to be like halfway up the slate. I just put the slate right in there like this, right? Drop an air stone in there. Usually it's going to be in the bottom area right here. All you're doing is creating water flow. The air is not necessary for the eggs to hatch. All it does is create water movement so that fungus bacteria cannot stick. Mother angelfish, they fan. They don't blow bubbles at the eggs. They're fanning it, keeping the water movement. So they become wigglers. You can take them off the slate. You can use a credit card and kind of slowly scrape them off. You can use a turkey baster and blow them off. Whatever you want to do. And they're in there. You take this out. I like to put a plant in there or a couple of plants in there so that they can stick to. If you've ever had wigglers before, you know they're sticky and they will stick to dead eggs and fungus eggs, and they're hard to get. And if they're in contact with them, then you know you're just hurting the eggs, the fry. So I use this plant right here. And I would love to tell you what it's called. I'm sure a lot of you know what it's called. But I drop that in there. I drop kind of a bunch of it in there so that my water flow doesn't push them and beat them up. So they like to stick to that. And it's easy to get the dead eggs out because this thing is just out here, out in the open. You get your dead eggs out. Alright? You do all your water changes you like and not disturb this whatsoever. So now they're free swimmers now, right? And you're feeding them brine shrimp, baby brine shrimp. Alright. I keep them in there for at least a week without cleaning up any of the detritus granted, I don't go crazy with the baby brine shrimp, but I don't clean them out because it is incredibly difficult to clean out detritus from a fried jar, fried jar tank, whatever you want to call it. And the way this is set up is that detritus, and detritus is basically whatever's at the bottom of the tank. When you do 100% water change on this 10-gallon tank, this little, I don't even know how much water is in there. It dilutes that detritus next to nothing. So I usually wait until they're big enough that they don't just like the little baby itty bitty fry that new, for some reason they go right to it. The bigger ones know enough to get away, and then it's easy to get the detritus out. Don't worry about polluting the water because you're doing such a big water change with a 10-gallon. It dilutes it next to nothing. So that's how I do. I'm gonna give you an example of how this is working. Now I'm using the large ones, and if I was going sideways with these tanks, I would only use large. But because I'm going this way, you know, front to, you know, side to side, it goes, you know what I'm talking about. I got to use these because the big ones don't fit. But let me show you this whole little setup in action and my whole scenario. Hold up. All right, y'all. So this is what I got going on here. As you can see, I got my 3 10-gallons right here. I only can fit 2 because those are too big. I have to fit them on the side. So I'm gonna set these guys up, switch everything over, then do this side. But look, so I have my 10-gallon tank, my filter, my sponge filter, got my heater, I got some plants in here, you know. But look at here, all right. So this is what I got going on. You can't even really hear anything. Alright, that's very, very low. That's how that's working. Sponge comes up. that the little knobby to control the airflow. I have this gang valve up here, and I can control the airflow like that. Let me show you something. So if I go over here, this gang valve, and turn it up, open it, look at that. Look at all that water. Look at all that water coming out. Alright, I turn it down after they become free swimming because they don't need as much water flow. Alright, so I turn it down. Alright, there we go. So, look, if you can see them. See all them little guys? Chilling. And the plants actually help out because it keeps them from getting pushed around in the water, and if they want to hide, they want to chill, they can do that with the plants. These had just got fed today, so there's some detritus in there. I'm not gonna mess with it because when I did a 100% on this tank, and I left the water from these two in there. So, all right, and this is some that are a little bit older. Well, let me move this light. And as you can see, their bellies are full. I gotta clean the detritus out of here, which is not hard to do because they're bigger and they actually run away from it. And I can go ahead and get the detritus and clean it up. So, yeah. Let me move this light so you can see better. See them better. Yeah. Okay, there it is. You see that orange belly? They're full with brine shrimp. And these guys they probably hatched a week ago, if that. And they're running away from the light. But at this point, they have fins and coloration and all that. But yeah, that's how I'm doing my thing. Look, this is where I have my little autumns in here. Where they at? See them? They're hiding in there. They're about ready to go into the bigger tank. I just took them out of there. See that? All right. Oh, I gotta turn this back on. This airflow on that. There we go. Alright, so that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna have 6 10-gallon tanks with the medium marina breeder boxes, heaters. I'm gonna eventually get this type of heater for everything. It's a titanium heater. I got it on Amazon for like $35. It's 200 watt, and it has the probe that tells you the temperature in the water, and it has a titanium heater right there. And it has this where I could change the temperature and not get my hands wet. It tells me what the temperature is. I don't have to search for the reading on the little mercury. And if it cuts off, it cuts on and goes right back to 82. I don't have to reset it. So, yeah. Hold on, let me flip it. Okay, so that's what I got going on. I'm real happy about it. I mean, yeah, it's extra work, but that's because I've been successful in doing what I wanted to do. I wish I would have known about all this earlier. I would have saved myself some money, but trial and error. And hopefully, if you're watching and you think that this type of setup or something similar will work for you, and it can save you money, then more power to you, brother. So I gotta go. That's my time. But until the next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your fish.